When we look at the current situation, and if we just use the SDGs as a bit of a lens to kind of diagnose what is happening around us, we've just taken a view of the platinum group metals industry. So countries that are involved in the mining and fabrication of PGMs: Belgium, Germany, Russia, South Africa, and the UK, and using the SDG index as a view of what were the foundations like. So 5 years into the SDG agenda, which is a 15-year agenda, how are countries doing? And you can see from the color coding that there are significant challenges across all countries when it came to looking at SDG performance. So that's some of the bedrock, if you like, of what has been happening and how the fault lines have been emerging in response to COVID. But if we look at South Africa specifically, because this is our country, we know it a little bit more. What it has shown is that certain SDGs are a lot more in focus now than they were previously. And SDG 3 for all countries is obviously the primary concern. That's where the virus and the pandemic is really, putting a big challenge on public health systems and in individual health. But what we're seeing in South Africa is that fault lines on two other SDGs are way more prominent than they were before, specifically SDG 2 around hunger and SDG 6 water. And that's because of the poverty levels in our country and the economic impacts of lockdown, people are going hungry. So where we were making good progress on SDG 1 in terms of moving people out of poverty, what we're seeing is that people are now taking a step back. We're having to, organizations in the country are having to focus on food parcel delivery. And the provisioning of water and infrastructure required to serve rural communities, and especially communities around mining companies, is a problem. And that's because of the underlying effect, if you like, of SDG 1 poverty and the inequalities in our country, which then just raises the profile of work that should have been done a bit more strategically and with intent around SDG 11, around the sustainability of our communities, and then SDG 8, because a few weeks of lockdown has introduced a set of economic impacts that have put all of those SDGs severely at risk. And we have a view that when you look at what drives performance on those SDGs and whether those SDGs drive performance in other SDGs, we begin to see that we've got to look at those SDGs a little bit differently to be improving performance at them, because the current situation has just raised the profile of those SDGs, and the fault lines are there and are amplifying the challenges that we have to face.